The Mamas and the Papas, 21 minutes before 8 o'clock in the morning right now at KFWB.
I don't know about you, but I think I'd like to find out about traffic.
I might want to drive somewhere.
So let's do that with Charles Arlington in a Lohman and Barkley mobile.
And now we're going to check the Pasadena and the Golden State and get back to you later.
I should mention, too, 3rd Street downtown, which is one-way west, is closed for fire cleanup right in the heart of town. Between 2 streets down there, which escape me. But anyway, be aware of that if you're... Of course, who would be leaving town at this hour of the morning anyway?
I would imagine a bank robber might. That would be a guy who might be doing that, or a mugger who's been prowling the streets of our downtown area during the night.
So if you're a mugger or a bank robber trying to get out of there fast, don't use 3rd Street.
19 minutes before 8 o'clock at KFWB.
With the right people, in the right place, at the right time, there's nothing like a beer. A really good beer. To a lot of people, that's Olympia. It's the water that makes Oli the right beer.
Olympia Brewing Company, Tumwater, Washington. All right, some Petula Clark music there for you, and it's now 16 minutes before 8 o'clock in the morning at KFWB. We'll have some cloudiness today through tomorrow, and 63 to 73 in the lower valleys.
The Postal Service has been the key link between families, friends, and business. Postage was always a bargain. Today, this remains true, even as mail volume surges steadily upward and postage rates change. First-class mail is now 6 cents, and air mail 10 cents an ounce. Postcards are a nickel.
What they don't mention in that announcement is a dilemma, I guess, and that is that they are in short supply of some of the stamps, particularly 1-cent stamps.
Yes,
for people trying to make... using their old 5-cent stamps and adding on a penny for the regular mail.
We have a note here, Al, wanting us to wish a happy birthday to Mary Ann Dillon.
Oh, yes. Matt's sister.
Yeah. Now, let me see here. This is very confusing. So, Mary Ann Dillon. Happy birthday, yes. She's 166.
That's wonderful. That's good. That's a good age to be.
Yeah. Sometimes I look forward to being that age.
Well, you're old enough to know what you want to do, and yet you're young enough to be able to do it at that age.
So happy birthday, Mary Ann Dillon, and may you have many more.
14 minutes before 8. That's Peter and Gordon, and this is Lohman and Barkley telling you that the place to be this weekend is Bar Clothing.
Yes, Bar Clothing is having a giant sale that continues for 3 big days, and it starts tomorrow. So you figured out 3 days starting tomorrow. I mean, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Boy, you have a way of
I
just
see right through you.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
What an incisive mind. What are they going to do?
Well, the Bar Clothing store will feature their Lohman and Barkley special. That's the 100% worsted suit, plain or fancy. It'll be sold for $37.
That's a $100 value suit.
Not it, I shouldn't say. They will be sold because they have more than one.
A lot of them.
$37, believe that or not.
These suits, as we've told you, are normally a $100 value. $37, a bargain you can't afford to miss out on. And Bar Clothing isn't hard to find at all. You just, you go down to 6th and La Brea is where it is in Los Angeles. That's a block north of Wilshire Boulevard.
Follow the crowds.
Yeah. Now, they'll be selling these 100% worsted suits $100 value for $37.
It's a remarkable low price. So this weekend, do go to Bar Clothing. There's free parking, ample free parking right behind the store, a block north of Wilshire on La Brea. And the sale is tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday. They're open 10 to 9 daily, from 10 until 6 on Saturday, and from 11 until 5 on Sunday.
It's 10 minutes before 8 o'clock now at KFWB.
This is David Rogers, KFWB News. Governor George Romney braves sub-zero cold in his quest to the GOP vote in New Hampshire primary. That story and more in 10 minutes.
Check the Golden State for you and get back later.
I always get lost downtown.
No, I pushed the wrong button. How about that? You get lost downtown?
Yeah, are you that way?
No. I know my way downtown pretty well.
Well, I can get downtown, but once I get there, I get lost.
That happens to me, too.
Which is sort of rough because after the station goes all news, we're going to become a cab driver.
The following is a special interview with a typical Southern California traffic officer.
I think everybody in Southern California ought to move.
They can in Mustang 68, the original car for movers and swingers and fun lovers, because there's a magic in Mustang that no one can imitate. That's why they say only Mustang makes it happen. In 3 models, hardtop, convertible, and fastback. Move to Mustang 68 now at your Ford dealer, headquarters for better deals, Southern California style.
It's 5 minutes before 8 o'clock. KFWB.
Some cloudiness today, but mostly sunny and pretty good days by and large. The predicted high for today, 70 degrees in the nitty-gritty city. He always gets into the Coconut Grove.
What's
before.
that?
He always gets into the Coconut Grove before I do.
Yeah, that really bugs you.
Boy, that's really bugged me all these years.
By and wait while Tony Bennett gets into the Coconut Grove.
He doesn't have to wait in line. When they have an opening, I have to wait in line. And when Tony Bennett comes in, they just usher him on in.
Yeah, and when Rowan and Martin are performing there, Vin Scully gets his car before we do, too.
Yeah, boy. Are we really
bug you, huh?
Oh, it's amazing that we're not maniacal killers. All the things.
Maniacal?
Maniacal. Monocle. It's amazing we don't have a monocle. We're so myopic.
We're 2.5 minutes away from 8 o'clock here, and it's time again to sell something.
Iris Fancy Foods.
From them thoughtful folks at Iris.
Among the fine stores featuring the Iris Diet Foods collection are all McCoy's Markets in the Long Beach and the Bellflower area.
Giant frog time here in just 60 seconds with the 8 o'clock news on this Friday morning at KFWB. And now a word from your local announcer.
This is KFWB, Group W, Westinghouse Broadcasting for Los Angeles, the news center on your radio dial.
Rough here at the network. Wonder how those local announcers make out on the crummy amount of money they pay.
Here's David Rogers.
It's 8 a.m., 56 degrees at Civic Center, no smog. This is David Rogers. The news is brought to you by the motor oil that's worth asking for. Pennzoil, the 100% pure Pennsylvania oil that contains Z7 and needs no other additive of any kind. The man who heads up the executive branch of government in Michigan wants the GOP vote in the first state in the union to hold a primary and wants it bad. This would appear to be the case, according to this report filed from New Hampshire this morning by Group W correspondent Gene Pell.
It was pitch black and 15 below when the Romney bus hit the road this morning, carrying Michigan Governor George Romney on the first leg of a 2,000-mile campaign tour of New Hampshire. 30 minutes after leaving a motel near Manchester, the Michigan governor began pumping hands of workers filing into an electronics plant at Nashua. He will shake 3,000 hands during a 2-hour stop there. Romney is bringing the same message to each man and woman who passes through that plant gate.
The 6-inch snowfall is hampering rescue operations. Hurricane-force winds hit Britain today, killing at least 16 persons and injuring 100 others. Police say the death toll could go higher. As our nation's lawmakers come back to Capitol Hill for the 90th Congress second section, the lower chamber sees the dollar sign before its collective eyes. Group W correspondent Jerry Udwin has details in this report from Washington.
The next 7 days will be filled with talk about money.
How much the president will indicate through his State of the Union message should be spent by the federal government. How the president will set out to convince the House Ways and Means Committee that it should approve his proposal for an income tax increase. Next Monday, the committee will begin new hearings on that old issue. The president's representatives will cite mounting evidence that the tax is needed to curb inflation and balance the current and the next federal budgets. Many congressmen, including the committee's chairman, Wilbur Mills, will argue that the same results could be obtained by cutting federal spending. There's been conjecture that the president may indeed refrain from proposing much new spending. He may suggest new programs, but that financing of them be delayed. Nonetheless, Congress will have plenty of money matters to debate. The income tax increase, a proposed direct tax on American travel overseas, and likely attempts from some congressional quarters to revive protectionist tariffs on imports. Jerry Udwin, Washington.
In the meantime, according to Udwin, the Senate will be battling verbally over civil rights issues. KFWB News Time is 7:33. The California legislature opens its second week of an election year session today. Assembly Republican leader Robert Monaghan of Tracy has proposed a $1.5 billion self-help housing plan. Although Democrats met over the weekend in Fresno to unite on party strategy, their conference turned into a disunity session. The prime issue, the war in Vietnam. A task force recommended be brought to fast conclusion. In Sacramento over the weekend, state Republican leaders solidified their party unity to back Governor Reagan as a favorite son. And heart transplant patient Mike Kasparik still is in critical condition following removal yesterday of his enlarged gallbladder. Looking into the world of sports, KFWB's Cleve Herman.
If Vince Lombardi's wife wants to be sure her husband is going to be completely happy during the 3-day vacation they've begun after yesterday's Super Bowl triumph, she'd better not drag out a deck of cards. Or if she does, she'd better not undercut the Green Bay coach very often. For the peerless Packer pedagogue proclaimed in the dressing room after a 33-14 romp over the Raiders of Oakland, it's always embarrassing to lose no matter to whom. I'm not very pleasant even losing to my wife in gin rummy. The grim-visaged, chunky citizen who is the consummate coach isn't embarrassed often, principally because he allows no margin for error to either his players or himself. And Lombardi had a lot to do with getting the players, the right players, for the right moment. Vince expressed the thought that perhaps his Packers reached their peak when injuries hit them. Jim Grabowski wasn't available for any of the bouts for the Big Blue Chips. But Lombardi filled his spot first with Chuck Mercine, whom he grabbed off the Washington Redskin taxi squad, and then with Ben Wilson, the Ram cast-off, who couldn't find a job anywhere else. As far as the future's concerned, Invincible Vince is ready there, too. First of all, despite the Packers' second straight world championship, their overall season record was not as good as either the Baltimore Colts or the Los Angeles Rams. They'll therefore draft ahead of both, and Lombardi's trades have netted him 9 extra picks in the first 5 rounds, 2 in the first, 1 in the second, and 2 each in rounds 3, 4, and 5. It seems the Packers, like the poor, shall always be with us. Only they keep getting richer. Cleve Herman, KFWB Sports.
The Los Angeles area weather, variable cloudiness through tomorrow with local fog and low clouds during night and early morning hours. Cooler today. It's 50 degrees in Burbank, 52 in Anaheim, and 54 at the airport. And it's 54 degrees at Civic Center, going up to near 68. This is David Rogers, KFWB News. Following a brief respite, Lohman and Barkley have girded themselves for continuing their madcap romp through the early morning hours.
I've got a problem. I can't figure out where all that money comes from that the Packers split. If they got $15,000 apiece and there are 40 guys on the team, that is $600,000. Certainly there wouldn't be that much left over to split from the sale of that game to the television network.
I don't know what the game went for, the broadcast rights, but it probably was several $100,000.
You suppose that during the league play, during the regular season, money from each game is set aside?
I don't know. Plus, they had a full house. They had 60-some thousand people there at, I suppose, maybe an average $10 a head. So,
and they perhaps stuck them up as they were leaving the stadium.
Mm-hmm. I don't know where the money comes from, but that's what they got, I guess, huh?
That's a lot of money for football.
Good morning again. 23 minutes until 8 o'clock the time with Lohman and Barkley here. She's very rich. Oh, wait, we better go to the Charlie first.
Yeah, before we do the commercial, because I'm sure he's standing by.
Charles Arlington reports on traffic. Charlie?
Well, we're on the, just approaching the problem-plagued San Bernardino freeway from Freeway 605. Most motorists are minding their motoring manners, but very good. We'll check back with you a little later.
Now, you were saying, Roger.
Yes, I said she's very rich. She's beautiful. She ranks among the world's best-dressed women. She may become a famous actress. But despite it all, to millions of people, she's best known as Jackie Kennedy's little sister.
Oh, I know you're talking about. Who? Jackie Kennedy's little sister.
That's right. This week, Look magazine introduces you to Princess Lee Radziwill and tells of her determined battle to emerge from the shadow of Jackie Kennedy to, in her words, make it on my own.
The fact is, as you'll read in Look, that Lee Radziwill, the princess married to a Polish nobleman, there must be some stories there, has decided to become Lee Bouvier, the actress. It hasn't been easy, but in Look's preview of her forthcoming TV special, you'll see how far she's come.
Is she doing it to keep up with her sister? Or, as some say, because things are going bad with her hubby?
Why does she avoid society spots like Palm Beach and Newport? Well, read her frank answers in Look.
Meet the public in private, Lee Radziwill, and see for yourself why Look is bigger than life. Why it's the best-selling magazine in its field. Get Look today. Thank you. And pardon me.
Now, let's see. Where are we?
Remember the time, Al?
Oh, that's...
We were playing supermarkets in the kindergarten class?
Wait a minute. Yes, we're talking now, aren't we, to my kindergarten teacher.
Your kindergarten teacher, Al, on this, your birthday, we'd like her now to come through the curtain, Miss Ada Bernice Lang.
Ada Bernice Lang. I only knew her as Miss Lang. Hi, Miss Lang.
Hi, Al.
Oh, it's so good to see you, dear. It's been so many years.
Yes, I remember you first began to show your interest in cartooning when you were in my class.
Yes, that's right. I used to draw cartoons in your class.
And I can't tell you how thrilled I am and how often I've told people that that's where that interest began to flower and blossom.
Why are you so interested in my cartooning?
Well, because we all, of course, read your cartoons every day.
Wait a minute, I'm not a cartoonist, Miss Lang.
Such modesty.
Well, no, I'm not. I can't draw water. I'm just...
come on, draw him for us.
No,
Draw your little Abner for us. No, and the satire that you show.
Wait a minute, hold it.
Yeah.
Hold it. Wait, just stop right now. Wait, hold it. Hold it. Now it all comes back to me. You think I'm Al Cap.
Of course.
Come to think of it, I should have known when you said your name was Miss Lang. My kindergarten teacher was Miss Downey.
Oh, you're not Al Cap.
No, I'm Al Lohman. For heaven's sakes, you come on. Al Lohman. I worked with this guy. I'll explain it.
I'm Barkley. That's Al. I'm sorry. I guess we got the wrong teacher, Al. It's a little embarrassing.
Pretty good there from King Curtis. I Was Made to Love Her, it's called. Right now, it's 7:45 at KFWB. We have variable cloudiness scheduled today through tomorrow, some cooler weather. Yesterday's high was 79, I believe the highest in the country. Today, 68 will be our high. I've lost track of the current, do you know?
54
degrees.
For a fun-packed evening, listen to the sparkling entertainment of the Kenny King Duo at the Dresden Room Restaurant, the Dresden Room on North Vermont Avenue. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump north of Hollywood Boulevard in the Hollywood-Los Feliz area.
I know it. Just north of the boulevard, because one of the salesmen came out of there the other night and tried to hop, skip, and jump to the boulevard. Of course, in the condition he was in, he broke his nose.
Also famous for fine foods, the Dresden Room.
Look under a table and say hello to one of our KFWB salesmen.
This is, today and tomorrow are Lohman's birthday.
Yeah.
And we're attempting here today to salute him on his 35th birthday.
Yes, what I'm going to do is become a rock and roll singer tomorrow, and I'll only be 27.
And so we have
more people from my past.
More people from your past.
Oh, that's
one. Putting in touching and moving appearances here, reuniting you with people that you haven't seen for years.
When would you like me to break down and become maudlin? What time do you have?
Any time you feel that that's what's called for. Why
good
we
enough.
Expect you to do that.
Well, Ralph Edwards used to sort of keep that in abeyance until about 3/4 of the way through the show. and then they would just end up a sniveling mess by the end of the program. Would you like me to do that today?
I would hope by 10 o'clock, yes, that you will be a sniveling mess.
I'll start sniveling at about 9:30. Those are the lemon pipers.
This is David Rogers, KFWB News. Quoting Hanoi Radio, the Viet Cong still plans 7-day truce for the Lunar New Year. That story and more in 11 minutes.
Yeah, when you hear critical remarks about the United States policy, now you don't know whether it's coming out of Hanoi or Saigon.
Or Washington.
That's possible, too.
The problem of youth drug abuse and addiction has permeated not only our colleges and high schools, but now also our junior high schools and even our elementary schools.
Good grief.
The Montebello Junior Chamber of Commerce is presenting Let's Stop Drug Abuse, a program designed to inform the public of this problem.
Now, the dates are January 22nd, which would be a week from today, the 23rd and the 24th, at Montebello Senior High School. The time is 7:30 p.m. The admission is absolutely free.
Oh, I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I'd truly like to be. 'Cause if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, everyone would be in love with me. 'Cause if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, everyone would be in love with me.
9 minutes to 8 o'clock, KFWB.
Here's the one with the weird lyrics.
Suzanne takes you down.
Let us again check on traffic. 5 minutes until 8 o'clock as we throw it again to Charles Arlington.
Well, we're following the Gotta Make It by mob on the westbound San Bernardino Freeway at about Fremont now. This freeway is kind of sluggish. Gets that way about, pretty close to New Avenue in the South San Gabriel area. No KFWB alerts. Back to Lohman and Barkley.
Freeway shouldn't feel bad. I get a little sluggish around New Avenue also.
And now a message from one of Southern California's most eminent commentators.
The impossible has happened. Rapid Transit has come to Southern California.
Rapid Transit is here now at your Ford dealer, and it's called Torino. Torino, the very rapid new Ford that comes in 6 completely different models, including a dazzling new GT Fastback that looks like it should cost a lot more than it does. Torino. Try it at your Ford dealer, headquarters for Rapid Transit and better deals, Southern California style.
Right now, it's 4 minutes before David Rogers in the news at 8 o'clock this morning.
Here's a suggestion for homemakers. You get better buys if you plan your shopping in advance. And every day, the Herald Examiner has the ads the day before the sales. Wednesday, for example, you'll find meal planning ideas and dozens of food shopping ads for Thursday's market specials. And now's the time for convenient, economical home delivery. Check the yellow pages and call the office nearest you today for home delivery of the Herald Examiner, Southern California's exciting newspaper.
That's the Association Windy.
It's a short little song we've always enjoyed, and we hope that you did too.
This is the News Center on your radio dial, KFWB, Group W, Westinghouse, broadcasting for Los Angeles.
Here's Dave.
It's 8 a.m., 56 degrees at Civic Center, light smog. This is David Rogers, KFWB News. The Viet Cong still plans observing a 7-day ceasefire in observance of the Lunar New Year known as Tet. As Hanoi Radio made this declaration, it warned the U.S. and allied forces they would be severely punished if they deliberately attacked during the truce period. The South Vietnamese government has said its troops and allies would observe a 2-day ceasefire, but there's no word yet on when it will start. The Lunar New Year begins January 30th. Last evening, KFWB News Conference hosted a recently returned soldier from across the Pacific. Nolan Fioravanti, son of KFWB newsman Bill Angel, had been the subject of several reports Angel fed us while he too was in Vietnam on special assignment. Nolan spoke of the Viet Cong when asked to draw a comparison between the time he got there and departed.
Well, the difference when we got there is the area was mostly inhabited by VC, and 99% of the families living in the area, which is about 300 families when we first moved into the area, were VC influenced, meaning if they didn't go along with the VC, they were either taxed to death or beaten or killed by the VC themselves. After we operated in the area for 9 months, and I can see, the accomplishment that we made while we were there, was we left with 5,000, we had 5,000 inhabitants in the area, and the area was 100%, I would say, safe area as far as during the day, was Americans all the way. At night, VC still occupied some of the area, but not nearly as much.
In Saigon, President Thieu says it's up to the enemy to de-escalate the war. They started it, and if they want peace, they must limit the fighting in the south. These are the words of the president. Also, the South Vietnamese leader rapped the United States for taking the lead in efforts to achieve a settlement. KFWB News Time, 8:02. The death toll in the wave of earthquakes that hit Sicily early today has jumped to 220. Police say most of the victims died when a hospital at Montevago collapsed and buried 200 persons. Rescue teams are in Sicily searching for more victims of the devastating quakes. Officials say hundreds of persons were injured in this series of at least 5 tremors. The same area was hit by a series of quakes only yesterday. Hundreds of homeless victims of the disaster are huddling up without shelter in bone-chilling cold, and many are in fields where snow has piled 4 inches deep. The U.S. Supreme Court has approved the merger of the Pennsylvania and New York Central rail lines. The merger will create the largest private rail system in the entire world. Battle lines apparently have been established between Assembly Speaker Jesse Unruh and Governor Reagan. The second week of the election year session of the legislature begins today in Sacramento. Search planes will concentrate on the Walker Lake area today in their effort to locate 2 missing Navy jets flying from Nevada to the Alameda Naval Air Station yesterday. No contact has been made with the 2 jets since they took off from Fallon, Nevada. The Navy has appointed a board to investigate yesterday's crash of a Blue Angels precision flying jet on the California desert. A Tennessee man, Navy Lieutenant Bill Morley, was killed in the crash. Heart transplant patient Mike Kasparek still is in critical condition today, although his borrowed heart is reported excellent. Yesterday, Kasparek underwent gallbladder surgery.